What's happening? This is David Banner, the God Box, and you're watching Sports and Hip Hop right here on Fanatics View.
It's been almost, Jesus, 20 years? That's pretty...
Yeah, it's probably 20 years.
Take me back to that time, man. What was that time?
Well, actually, Crooked Lettaz has been a little bit longer than 20 years now. I think.
Sorry, Gray Skies is.
Oh yeah. I think the release of Gray Skies, it's been exactly 20 years. And it's funny because after all that time, I still, with the God Box, feel the same way, that I felt doing Crooked Lettaz, because I don't know if you knew this, but the Crooked Lettaz album was supposed to get 4.5, 5 mics. But because, and I'm not going to name the artist, there was a Def Jam release that the Source didn't like, but the Source did more, but Def Jam did more advertisement than Penalty. They couldn't give us more mics than they gave the Def Jam artists. And that could have changed the scope of our career. People didn't start saying really that the God Box is one of the best albums of 2017 until Charlemagne came out and said it. Then when Charlemagne said it, people felt a little bit more comfortable, again, because, no, you get it. You just get it. I keep going. Because Charlemagne said it, everybody else felt a little bit more comfortable about literally saying that David Banner had one of the best albums of the year. But the thing, it was funny because I stopped and talked to Joe Buttons at Puffy's party, and I was like, dude, you complain so much about the state of rap music, and then you have an artist that's doing it, and you won't acknowledge it. And he was like, Dave Banner, I can't even lie, I hadn't even listened to the God Box. He said, but Charlemagne told me about it 2 times, and he literally said that this may not be one of the best rap albums of 2017. It may be one of the best rap albums ever. But again, because we're from the South, and because it's David Banner, and what people, because of the state of rap, I believe people don't believe that folks practice and that they really want to get back. I practice. I work hard on my shit. I make sure that I have the right people around me to keep me influenced, to help me, in the process. It's not just me. The God Box is a conglomerate effort of so many different people, so many great people. I'm actually in the house right now with KP the Great, one of the executive producers of the God Box, and he's one of the few people that I trust. I was at this point, and I just want to tell you what he told me. It was so amazing. I let him hear the God Box early, and he said, bro, he said, I wouldn't want to be in your position. And I said, why are you saying that? He said, because if you do one wrong thing with this album, it will be the difference from it being one of the best albums of all time and it just being, that was a pretty cool, dope album. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you got to spend time on making sure that the album flows right. The hardest thing for the album was actually, even though you asked me about Crooked Lettaz, I just started talking about whatever the fuck I wanted to. God Box, buy that bitch on davidbanner.com right motherfucking now, because that's what the fanatics who view shit want to know about. But he told me, he was like, bro, you really gonna have to make sure that you put it in the right order. But back to the Crooked Lettaz, it's funny that I still feel the same way. And Erykah Badu told me once that I had an underdog mentality. And I guess that's from fighting from the bottom. I know how people from the South even feel about the state that I'm from. And that was always my motivation, was to change the way, first of all, that people felt about black people in Mississippi, especially black men. Because I remember the minister saying that if you could change racism in Mississippi, then that could be the beacon of light for the rest of the world, because Mississippi is sort of like, in people's mind, even though it's not necessarily the truth, that's the flagship for racism in the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes it so great with me being a black man from Mississippi. It's even funny when I get on CNN, white folks scared to debate against me. They say, cause that motherfucker know about racism. We can't debate about him from this. Just the fact that he put up with that shit, he wins. Fuck it. You know, but Crooked Lettaz, man, is something that's important to me though.
Can I ask you about the culture of Mississippi growing up? You know, I enjoyed Last Chance U on Netflix. I don't know if you watched that as well. Did you grow up around that football culture as well?
Not necessarily, because I didn't really. He asked about the culture of Mississippi, and he asked about. Mr. Jones asked about did I grow up around the football culture? No, because I was enthralled with hip hop before they played hip hop on the radio in Mississippi. Like there was WNPR's one station in Mississippi that played rap when I first started rapping from like 2 to 6 on Sundays. That was it. But I was so enthralled with hip hop. Like one of the things that people don't know, I started off a backpack rapper. I just happened to be from a very violent city. When I was growing up, Jackson, Mississippi was the murder capital of the United States when I was in high school. As a matter of fact, one of my great friends who was older than me was the first guy that got killed in gang violence in Jackson, Mississippi, when the gang violence first popped off. But I wasn't really in the football culture because I got introduced to hip hop very young. So while other people were listening to certain types of music, I was listening to Mantronics, Tila Rock, Stetsasonic in Mississippi. Like, you feel me? I had this is a really strange story. I had my Uncle James moved from the north. He was a hip hop DJ, and he got a job as a blues DJ in Mississippi. So he didn't have enough space in his house for all the early hip hop records, so he gave them all to me. So like I had this little cheap ass record player with like literally hundreds. Like if I would have kept those records, I'd probably be a millionaire, like the stuff that he gave me, you know. I remember the record that I liked the most. It was the flip side of a Stetsasonic album. It was called Rock Lestat. And that's the thing about me. Like people don't know. Like up until I would say recent history, I consider myself a historian as it pertains to hip hop on a global scale. You know, and when a lot of my friends were into certain things, you know, I was listening to Souls of Mischief. I was listening, you know, to Digging in the Crates. So, you know, that on top of, you know, 8 Ball and MJG, Scarface, the early Rap-A-Lot with Trinity Garden, and you know, Blind Rob. And
I was on your Instagram page.
Yeah.
Saw the picture of Pimp C.
Right.
You know, Pimp C's on the Gray Skies album.
Right. Pimp C's on several
yes.
David Banner albums. Let's be clear.
But I mean, like he kind of bought in. I don't know the exact history, but it seems like he kind of bought in early,
yeah.
so to speak. So I'm just wondering what he kind of, you know, the legend Pimp had overall impact on you, and you know, maybe how cool it was for you at that time to just kind of, you know.
Well, for me and Pimp C, it's a strange feeling because I never stopped being a fan. So like to this day, I'm still surprised that Snoop is actually my friend, that Scarface is my mentor. You know what I'm saying? That E40 is like my homie. Like I go to his house. Like it still blows my mind. Like when me and Snoop had an estate close to each other. Like I used to walk in Snoop's house and get something to eat and be like, all right, Unc, and walk out. That shit was so fucking cool. And like Snoop got bodyguards like Obama had. Like, and they all loved me, so it was cool. I didn't even have to ask. I just went through the motherfuckers. But it was funny because Pimp C initially didn't know. I don't even think he knew who Crooked Lettaz was. We just had the bread. So I don't even want to play it like, you know, he heard Crooked Lettaz and thought it was something dope. Nah, we had $10,000 at the time, and we gave it to him, and he rapped. But what was crazy, the most amazing thing about Pimp C, and I hope he doesn't mind. Pimp C is one of the smartest, most caring dudes that you meet if he know you. But if he don't know you, he could give a fuck less. I mean, at all. And he would always tell me, like, Banner, you a good dude, but you can't let these motherfuckers know you. It's like, cause, and what he was saying, I actually agree with him. If people really know your heart, they'll try you. But because people don't know, just because you nice don't mean that you won't cut their throat or that you won't beat their face in. You feel me? And Pimp C was one of the if you don't mind me moving forward about our relationship, Pimp C was so amazing to me because he was one of the few artists, like, I couldn't really talk to Scarface about what I was going through in Mississippi because he was from Houston. He was from a major city. Pimp C was one of the few artists who had made it to the level or higher than what I did and was from a smaller town. Like, the hate and the pressure that you go through coming from a smaller town is different. It's like people feel like you're their only hope, and that's not really your responsibility, but that pressure is on you, you know. And Pimp C told me one time, I never forget this, he was like, Banner, you smart. He said, you gotta give people time to catch up with you. He said, make a couple more songs that they can understand and take them slow. And he was right.
Is that where Like a Pimp comes in?
No. Like I told you, me and Pimp didn't really know each other till after Like a Pimp. As a matter of fact, I don't think Pimp even remembered like the Crooked Letter stuff. That never really came up. What happened was when we paid Jive to clear the sample for Like a Pimp, because I just sampled it. But I started thinking, man, like, cause Pimp was in jail. Pimp missed he went in jail before Like a Pimp came out, and by the time he got out of jail, the Like a Pimp, like, we had moved on. It was like another album, maybe another 2 albums. And cause I put my second album out really quick. I thought in my head, like, man, I'm making all this money off this man's voice. Like, I better write him or something. So I wrote him in jail. We became really cool by sending letters to each other, and I don't think too many people wrote them. I don't know, but he made me feel like my letter meant something to him. So, like, instead of sending him titties and naked women and stuff, I would take, because Pimp C was on the ASRT and he worked with keyboards. He didn't know how to use the drum machine. So I would take pictures, Polaroid pictures of the drum machine, and then if he put them side by side, it would make the whole drum machine, and I would show him what all the buttons meant and how they worked. And because of Like a Pimp, I was traveling internationally. So I would take pictures of all of the places in the world, because I was like, instead of sending them women, like, he probably had been in on every place in and outside of a woman, that I want to take his mind somewhere that he hasn't gone before and at least teach him something. And something that I was so honored I don't know if you saw that interview when Pimp got out of jail. I think he named like 7 people that he was grateful for. And I was one of those people. So, like, that really meant a whole lot to me. KP, I think this for you, dog. That was KP right there, just so y'all know. Be great. 15 minutes? Okay, cool. Cool, we got 15 minutes. We good, we got 15 minutes. Yeah. Oh, no. That was actually awesome. I finished it up. Yeah. Bro, I do this shit for a living, just so you know, so while you was talking. Absolutely. Yeah.
Was also on your Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed
my Instagram page is the shit. Just to be clear.
I noticed you created yourself, gray beard, NBA 2K, lighting guys up.
Right.
Still having a good time. Are you an online guy? Are you a franchise mode guy? What are you?
All right. So I usually create my own player, play the whole season. I don't know. It's just something about when They made the game so, and just so y'all know, we're talking about 2K18 or 2K period basketball.
Well, who do you light up on 2K? Like any celebrities?
Well, I will tell you this. This is what I tell you is that I've actually beat one of the creators of 2K before. So it's real funny when people talk shit online, and I'd be like, man, I fucking smash you. But Game and Snoop, are like really great at football and basketball. Like those are two people that I would love. I've never played Game before. I played Snoop before. No, I'm not mad. And I'm the type of guy, I don't like to lose. And this is what people don't understand about me. If I compete with you, then I'm good, because I hate to lose. So like people talk shit, I don't talk shit until after I match. Oh yeah, he knows. Like I don't like getting involved in this shit and losing and knowing that I'm not good. So I'm a practice before I even engage. But what I will tell you is I have a multimedia company, and you could go to bannervision.com. We do music for video games and for commercials. So like I made music for several video games. So to see my image on one of the earlier 2K games, I actually had a character. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the kind of shit that excites me the most, to actually, this is funny, play with yourself. If you know what I'm talking. Ladies, you know what I mean when we're on the phone late night. It's not the same thing. It still feels as good. We got one more question, bro. We got to get on stage. Unless you want to wait till after we're done.
I want to ask you one serious question.
All right.
Because we just put out the video, reposted the video, Colin Kaepernick training, coming back. You know, what do you feel that, your personal opinion, do you feel the NFL will give him a shot again? Do I feel like they'll give him a shot again?
I really don't know. I don't like answering what other people would do, but what I will say is that it's a bunch of racist motherfuckers in the NFL, and I don't understand why black people want to go back to that shit. Like, I'm not one of these people. Like, one thing that I feel about our people is that we too fucking nice. A motherfucker. That's like if somebody did. You have a daughter or a son? Okay, who do you love? Your mom? Your mom's still alive? If a motherfucker from the NFL slapped your mom, right? And said, oh, I am so sorry that I slapped the shit out your mama. Would you be like, oh, thank you for that apology, it's over? Like, even if you didn't beat their ass, you wouldn't want to fuck with them no more, right? I feel the same way. Like, why do we even, like, I don't even want to fuck with them no more. Huh? I don't know where the fuck we should go. We shouldn't go there, though. You know, I really think that we should create our own.
You know, Gary V, I don't know if you, Gary Vaynerchuk had a really interesting thought. I was watching one of his interviews. He said if all of the NBA players, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, got together and started their own league, they could overthrow the NBA.
Well, yeah, I even thought of this. I think the perfect person who really could have done it is when Jordan came back the second time. Jordan had enough power and enough finances, and he had enough influence that he was one of the few black men, or men period, who being with Jordan transcended money. So where people would come without him having to pay them a whole lot of money just because they fucking with Jordan. Like, and I just think that we're so enthralled with white supremacist toys that we're scared to give up the immediate instant gratification for something that can transcend time and money, and that's true freedom. You know what I'm saying? Imagine having something like where, because I give you an example. I think one of the things that's closest to slavery is fucking college sports, especially as it pertains to the sports that black people play. Like, why can you go straight to the league, directly to the league in anything but football and basketball? That's racist. I don't give a fuck what jargon you talk about. That's fucked up. You feel me? So make sure that you purchase the God Box. And throughout all the stuff that I talked about, it's really about davidbanner.com. I love y'all. And I do want to say something really quick before we go on stage. I really appreciate people who allowed me to grow up. You know, a lot of artists have changed their life and become more conscious and done all these great things, and people didn't fuck with them. I'm one of the few artists that the world allowed to change. You know, whether they fuck with my music or not, you know, generally people have made me feel like they're proud of me, and it helps me to push on every day.